Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Roger, the vocalist of the band Agnostic Front, discussing their latest release, Echoes in Eternity. I hope you enjoy.
Hello.
Hi, how are ya?
Good, how are you?
Good. You got two of us today. I hope that's okay.
Hey, that's fine.
Roger, how are
Hi.
you?
Hi, Nikki.
Hi. How you
Nikki
doing
and Nika,
today?
huh?
Nikki and Nika. Yeah, I didn't even think about how our names are so similar.
Nikki and Nika. Yeah.
How's your day going so far?
So far, so good.
Looks like it's nice there. Looks like you got some sunshine.
Yeah, I'm in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, so it's really nice.
Oh.
Perfect. 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 Well, yeah, well, we're here talking about Echoes in Eternity that's been out not even a month yet. It's still pretty new out.
Yeah, kind
Uh
of like a little over a week.
has it only been gosh, I can't
The
November
seventh,
The
is-
7th?
10 days, yeah.
yeah, a week and a half, yeah. How has it felt to get it out there? I mean, you've been doing this for a while, so I'm
Yeah,
sure it's nothing new, but
but it felt good. This is when I was very anxiously waiting for it to be released because I really enjoyed it. I really loved making it, and I think it's something special. So I really couldn't wait to get it out.
yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Very special album. I've listened to it from beginning to end, and I find myself running around my house chanting, talking about, you know, way of war. And it's just great. I'm really, really impressed.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I appreciate that. I'm starting to do the same thing as you because what in the process of writing and everything, lyrics always get changed, things get moved, and I'm trying to remember the new changes now because I'm so used to the old stuff, and all of a sudden things change. I'm like, oh, now I got to reprogram that. So I'm running
Right.
around the house to kind of familiarizing myself again.
You come up
Yeah.
with new set lists. Do you feel like it's like harder and harder and harder to narrow it down since you have so much music out there now?
Absolutely, it's really hard. What we do is we know what we consider the classics and what always works. So why eliminate them off the set list and then introduce the new stuff? Right now for the American tour, we're trying to introduce at least three and then shuffle them. But by the time we get to Europe on February, hopefully we could do six and then shuffle.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Which six are you doing?
They're kind of all on the A side. Let me see if I can remember what we've been. A Way of War for sure. Matter of Life or Death. Sunday Matinee. Um, Tears for Everyone. We've got You Say, Divided, Turn Up the Volume. Those are kind of the ones we've been working on right now.
Nice.
Those are some of your higher energy songs, and
Yeah. There's a couple quick fast ones too. I'm impressed that I remember all the titles.
Oh, that was pretty good. You not
Yeah,
yeah.
not bad, right? Not
rattled them
bad.
off pretty quick. I was like, no, he's got it.
Not bad.
So on Matter of Life and Death, you guys had Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC. Tell
Hmm.
me a little bit about that, how you guys came to work with him.
Well, he actually kept trying to be in contact with us, and he saw our documentary, our film. It's called Agnostic from the Godfathers of Hardcore. It was playing on Cinemax for like 2 years, and he
Mm-hmm.
saw it. He loved it, instantly loved it, and he was like, he kept reaching out, but hey, to all these different friends we had, but we were, you got the pandemic, you had a lot of things going on, and timing wasn't just right. This last time when he hit me up again, he's like, "Hey, Roger, we got to do something together. I want to do something, because he said, I love that film. It's like we were living parallel lives. It's just like, I was doing hip hop, you were doing hardcore, but we were all on the streets in New York. He goes, I love it. He'll come to show, you'd be yelling stigma, just random shows and stuff. And I told him, we're at the time we were also busy touring. I said, we're kind of writing a new record now. Let us get through the record and I'll come back. Cause I kind of didn't think of at the time like writing a song and then he'll be on it. I thought we were gonna just collaborate on a song, random song.
Mhm.
So in the process of writing, I did Matter Life and Death. Actually, I did both verses, and my verse two became verse one, and I deleted verse one because my our producer Mike DeJean was like, "Man, this would be great for Daryl. This is just right in his zone, right in everything he wants to do." And I was like, "You're right." So then I sent him the song without the second verse, so he could do whatever he wants, and and then he heard it. He's like, "Wow, I love this song. I want to do it so bad." So then that's how it came together. He showed up to the studio. He did one take, which was fantastic, but he didn't like it. Then he wanted to do another take, and he just did freestyle right there, and it was perfect. And then we are like, "Wow, that was great." He goes, "When are we doing a video? When are we doing a video?" So I said, "You want to do a video?" He goes, "Yeah." So we locked down a video. So now he wants to do the song together. So we haven't played it till we do it together. And on Vinny's birthday right now, coming up on birthday show December 6th at Irving Plaza. He's gonna come out and he's gonna do the song with me. And I
That's
think it'd be cool.
awesome.
He's a big metal guy. He's a big, rock guy. Obviously, they did Walk This Way with Aerosmith years ago. And he's got a lot of passion and love for that. And Agnostic Front is his favorite hardcore band. So he's proud. I'm proud too. It was great collaboration.
That is awesome. That is way cool. Yeah, the song turned out amazing. I love how he, the vocals, the flow of you two really work well together.
It did, he did his thing. I did my thing, and it was perfect. I like what he did better, to be honest with you. But he just because he had free range and free do what he wanted. I was under the microscope of my producer, and and he wanted me to do a certain thing. And then, again, that was the second verse, and I moved it over because I liked it better than the original first verse I did. But I liked his part better anyway, Daryl's part. But it was cool. I mean, it hasn't been anything this done since like Judgment Day record years ago.
One,
And
that was a great album.
right, but this is a little bit more of introducing Daryl on our field.
Right.
He's straight up doing his thing, his cadence, his thing, but on our field with our drive, our music, our everything, and he nailed it. You could tell he's a natural for it.
Definitely. The energy is right there. And that's just really, really cool that you guys were able to get together and do that. It's just awesome.
He was fun in the video too. He just showed up. He was just he's a good dude. What I really like about him is he's very very much like us. Like he treats people with a lot of kindness and respect, and he's not rude to fans. I see artists, like on certain levels are just kind of off. He don't care. He's taking photos. He's having a time of his life. He wasn't even down a time limit. He goes, "What's next?" He just want. He would have been there for 2 days if we had to. He's just really really like he's a good person.
That's awesome. Well, I hope that in the future you guys could do something again.
Yeah,
That
he
would be
has
way
something. He has something he wanted me to come in and do, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Sure. I wanted to talk about Eyes Open Wide. I think I really dig the lyrics of that song, and it seems like, I mean, your lyrics are always very personal anyways. But that one seemed like a very personal song. So tell me about that one.
It is a very personal song. I'm trying to think of the lyrics to that one now. There's about three or four. Eyes Open Wide being one of them. I Can't Win
Mhm.
being another one, and Art of Silence. Those are really very personal because I was also fighting, we were going through the pandemic, and I got hit with another shot. I got hit with cancer, and I was
up.
battling that, and I was just like, those songs are about, well, Eyes Wide Open is a little bit different. I think it's about kind of what's going on. I can't remember anymore the stuff I've written. With dealing again with, everybody's shut down, though. Everybody's all of a sudden a doctor, everybody's all of a sudden a politician. It's just so crazy. This what social media has turned into. And now with the AI thing, you don't even know what to believe anymore. it's a horrible thing. At the same time, I know the importance of it, you know, but it's got so much damaging elements. I think they outweigh the importance of it,
Yeah.
and people have dehumanized. Like I don't, you know, I've kind of lost the respect or the people have lost the value of being good humans,
Yeah.
good people, and you know, it's okay if someone thinks something different. It's okay. It's okay. You know, like, but people are just out for your throats now on both sides. It's crazy.
Mm,
It's
It
most
is
sad.
crazy.
definitely.
It's super disheartening. I remember when the pandemic first started, I was like, okay, this is a worldly thing. Like this is something that none of us have all experienced collectively, at least in our years. You know, obviously there's been pandemics in the past, but I thought, oh, this is going to be one of those beautiful things that's going to bring everybody together.
Oh
And I was
no.
like, oh my gosh, this is. I was shocked, and I don't know. I guess I kind of know why, because it seems like usually when it comes to tragedy collectively, people can tend to band together and come together, but it did not happen that way at all, and it's been very disheartening.
Well, you know, I blame a lot of that. Like if you listen to our album prior to Echoes of Eternity, um, well, even prior to Get Loud, we have the American, the American Dream died, which called out a lot of the stuff that happened during the pandemic. It's calling all that stuff out. You know, there's a meaning behind a lot of that stuff. It's divide and conquer. You know, it's the old tricks that have never gone away. And you know, usually people in higher ups and high power, high control know it, and they know what to
Yep.
do. They know what they're doing.
In the
Hmm.
age of information, where we have information at the tips of our fingertips, you think that people would recognize that and know that, and it would be common knowledge. So it's very interesting that it has not been.
But the problem is, then they reintroduce AI, and everything is, was it real? Is it
Yeah,
fake? Like you don't even know anymore.
right.
Like
Yeah.
so much misinformation when instead of becoming a positive thing of good information, just really threw everybody for a loop. You know, and then that's also the metaphor of our album cover. For example, Ernie Parada, who did our album cover, who's a phenomenal artist, also a New York hardcore alumni from a band Token Entry. He we gave him a couple of lyric songs to work with, and one and the actual cover itself, the line from a song called "Divided," which is one of my favorite songs on a record. It's very eerie, and the lyric the lead in that song is phenomenal. It's something like from 1980, 81, 82. You know, it's kind of really like gothy, eerie type of stuff. But anyway, there's a line there where it says, "Spill the blood of the innocents," and that's kind of what the cover is taken from. Like people like around about those times, we're just talking about how people are so gung ho, whatever they want to believe, is so blinded to march forward, whatever flag, whatever they don't even realize the flag they're holding behind them is on fire. They're just going, they're moving. They don't even realize the shit show going on behind them, you know. And that's kind of what a lot of those kind of lyrics tend to be on. Because I read a lot of social political stuff, meaning stuff that happens around me on a day to day basis. I don't tend to write on world politics. I leave that for the corrupt politicians, you know, except for if I want to make a statement like way of war, for example, which is a direct statement and of like how, you know, how evil war is, you know, how civilians pay the price for this stuff, you know. We didn't, I'm sure you don't want it. I don't want both you, Nikki and Nico. Nobody wants war, you know, but
Mm-mm.
we get forced into these things. I mean, except for stuff like that. But you know, that's kind of what a lot of some of those more personal lyrics are.
With that, I like to ask when it comes to especially heavy topics and personal lyrics, what are some things that you do to help balance yourself out mentally? What do you do for self-care to make sure that you're not getting stuck in the mess of it all?
To be honest with you, I went through a lot of, I mean, I've been through, you know, this stuff is nothing new to me, unfortunately. You know,
Hmm.
I don't like revisiting it. I've been through a lot of hard times in my life. I don't know if you got to read my book, my autobiography, My Riot.
No.
Being as an immigrant coming to this country, I was born in Cuba, came to this
Oh.
country, raised in New York City, and I went through a lot. I went through a lot in my life, and and then I seem to always continue to, sometimes things go around, but I do suffer with depression. Of course I do. But I've kind of, I do a lot of martial arts, which helps a lot. I, I talk to myself a lot. I really
I do
do.
that too.
I talk to myself a lot. And, lately I've been going through some very big hardship here. One of my friends is in hospice right now as we're speaking. I'm gonna go see him after this interview again.
Listening.
And and then I try to keep people mentally right, because there's a lot of bad, a lot of things you go through. Uh, it's hard. Depression is real, man. When I was younger, I used to think how selfish people were when they took their lives and stuff like that because everybody else is hurting around it. But I understand, but it's still people hurt around it any way you put it. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
some people just don't want to be here anymore. I get
Yeah.
it, but I
I do.
wish they would find the right people. But
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's so important, and nowadays to stay positive and, continuing being positive for your friends and being a cheerleader for them too. And I think it's so important to have that system of positivity around you. Keep it going.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? And one thing that's something a lot of times I sit back and it's I've had a great life. I've had a wonderful life. I've had a hell of a life. Like again, if you do get to read any of my stuff, you'd be like, wow. Um, and then you sit back, you like sometimes you wonder like, what is my purpose in life? Like why? My success is really with help helping people overcome oppression somewhat. So many people can relate to stuff I've written,
Mhm.
and I've heard it everywhere. I remember I was with my wife and on our honeymoon in Greece, and some guy just out of nowhere, we're on a random honeymoon. He's like, "Oh, Roger, I love you guys. If it wasn't for you, this," and then we'd go traveling. Oh, if it wasn't for you, my life was this and that. And then I realized, like, that's really been my purpose. That's going to be my pot of gold. Like, I don't expect anything different. But at the same time, I sometimes I sit back, I'm thinking, well, I could use that too, like,
Yeah.
and who do I go to overcome my stuff? And sometimes there's a lot of heavy weight. Like I have to go back to myself and I have to go back to myself and think about the stuff I've been through, what I've overcome. And I go back to myself to help myself, is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. So it's pretty crazy, pretty wild life.
It's that inner
Well,
wisdom that you get with experience. Sorry, go ahead, Nikki.
Yeah, yeah.
well, I just wanted to mention, for me, I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere,
That's right.
and when I heard Agnostic Front and Hatebreed, Cro-Mags, Madball, Terror, that is the music that kept me going.
Yeah. You see what I mean? Stuff like that that just motivates people. Are like you said, you're probably in the middle of nowhere. You're probably lonely. You're probably who knows? And I'm sure you had a good group of friends around, but music is so life-saving. That's what I value a lot about Europe is huge on music and arts, where America, they don't care.
Yeah.
America doesn't care. The government doesn't care, doesn't subsidize, they don't care. Europe,
Hmm.
everything's subsidized. They want people to be happy. So that's where all the festivals, all that stuff started in Europe. They want
Yeah.
people to enjoy music and because they understand the comfort music brings to so many people on so many levels where this country doesn't give two shits about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it
Mhm.
doesn't. It really doesn't. So then you're on your own trying to seek something that speaks to you, that
Hmm.
motivates you, that like that gives you that feeling of hope and just makes you feel good, and you can't wait to see a band and you've been like listening to it. Just such a good feeling, and it's been that way for so many years. I mean, think about before there was even radio or anything, how people would just sit around and just sing songs,
Yeah.
Mhm.
cheer yourself up.
Yes.
When they take all that stuff from you, what do you got anymore?
Oh, that's what makes me so nervous about the music industry because the musicians themselves are not getting the financial support that they deserve because they it is what keeps us going. It's our therapy away from therapy. It's our home away from home. It's a language we can speak worldwide. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't speak the same language. Music is something that you can communicate through, and it's such a huge important part of the human soul that I'm like, why are we not taking care of these musicians? Because if they all just up and said, we can't do this anymore, it's not feasible.
And
What's the world gonna look like? It's gonna be terrible.
And that's exactly what's going on. And a lot of people don't realize, like for example, like Spotify and all that stuff. I mean, this got its importance, you know. Either you're with it or you're not with it, and if you're not with it, you're left in a corner, you know. But they know that. But the musicians are getting ripped off in a horrible way. It's all CEOs making the money. They're not creating the music.
Mm-mm.
You know, they just real figured out how to kind of rip everybody
Had
off.
to rob everybody.
Yeah, and then you have your other giant agencies too that do the same thing with like hacking on crazy prices to a regular ticket. You know, you want to go by see a band and it's 15, $20, and by the time you checked out, you paid $38 of a
Mhm.
fee on top of a fee on top of a fee on top of a fee. It's just wild what they do. And the bands don't see that. Trust me.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Trust
No, I
me.
know that.
We get based on your $15 ticket, $20 ticket, whatever. Everything else, someone's making a there's a six band member somewhere, you know, that you don't even know about, you know,
Right.
and it's just it doesn't stop. It's continuous, and it's a monopolization of the whole music industry, the whole everything, and it's starting to move into Europe too. A lot of these companies
Uh,
are now huge in Europe. You know,
I
they're taking
know.
over the clubs and mama. It's like taking over mom and pop coffee shops, mom
Hmm.
and pop music venues. Them they take it over and they're corrupting them and doing the same thing. And it's kind of sad, you know, like leave music alone, leave musicians alone, leave the people alone.
Yep.
Let them, you know, instead of banging them for another $18, or let them take that money. Say goodbye, a t-shirt, support the
Yes.
band and have something they really love at the end of the show to a memory of, you know,
Yeah.
not a ticket stub that costs you $38. How
Yep.
about a t-shirt,
Hmm.
you know?
Yep. That's one
Have
of the things
fun.
that's one of the things I promote a lot with Metal Nation is making sure that you're buying the soft merch.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously buying the albums, but buying the soft merch is where
Well,
you guys make the
the
most amount of
bands
money.
the bands are living off the soft merch.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, as a band member telling you, if it wasn't for that, I don't even know.
Yep.
But I mean, that's how bad it is. At the
Hmm.
same time, don't let me be negative about it. I mean, there's importance for a lot of stuff, and we're stuck in this loop. There's a lot of bands, and even we're not even one of the bigger bands. I mean, I just saw what's her name from Garbage. I heard the singer. What's her name?
Shirley Manson.
Yes, she was on a huge rant in Denver about
Hmm.
how she's afraid she's not gonna want to come back, and because she's over the whole like the Live Nation ripping people off and the whole music, like they're making. She said that her band makes an average of $38 a month on Spotify, you know, and stuff like that. It's just wild,
It is.
wild, like what they do. But it's gonna stop someday. There's a lot of platforms that really care about musicians. There's one called Music Cares that are
Mm.
our booking agent. Stormy Shepler is from Leave Home Booking is really a big part of, and they've been doing great stuff. They're fighting all this stuff. They go into different courts in different states and start fighting all stuff. And they also started doing like healthcare for musicians and stuff like that. Like there's people that do care. Just want to let you know there are people that do care.
I
That's
do think some
great.
bands are fighting back too. Sorry, go ahead, Nikki.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's definitely bands that are starting to fight back. Spite, just had a a a whole thing with a venue of where they were going to start taking part of their sales in merch, and they were like, absolutely not. So they said we're gonna have like a tent outside of the venue, and you can come and get stuff from us instead of getting ripped off in there and ripping us off in there too. So I think bands are starting to try to take control as best as they can and fight back too.
We've done that in you know, just meet us outside, whatever. And it's weird because we've also got given them like, hey, we don't take anything from your bar. Why
Right.
not get something from our soft? You know, like
Yep.
give me 20% of your bar.
Yep.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
And the drink sales and
Right. But our
all.
booking agent is very strong woman, awesome leave home booking again, Stormy, and the women that worked were with her, Deborah, Amy, great, all three of them, great people, and they fight for all this stuff. They fight for you get no percentage of any of your. She's for the bands.
Good.
And that's good to be in a team like that, you know.
Important.
Absolutely. 100%. Well, did have a question for you about the CBGB days.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you had any secrets or any stories that you wanted to share with us.
A lot of secrets on those days. Probably
Secrets,
way too
but
many
sharing.
secrets. Way too many secrets. Um, but we truly do love CBGBs. We're probably the band that played there the most. There, I'm not even lying about that. We're definitely one of the bands that played the most benefits for CBGBs shows. We definitely did the most live albums at CBGB show. We hold three. I don't know anybody else holds at least that much. Um, we also were the last band to play, last band hardcore matinee ever to play at CBGB's.
Oh, wow.
Hilly wanted it that way. Hilly said, "We want you guys to close out the matinees." Well, it was an honor, you know. So CBGB's was a home for us, you know. It meant a lot to us. It was what a phenomenal what a loss for New York. I mean,
Mm,
and it's all again like people moving in, they don't want to deal with music. You knew the venue was there, you knew the club's there, you know where you're moving into. What you're moving into New York City, you don't want to hear noise. Like we're I could see if they live by you, Nikki, in the farm. Okay, you don't get noise. I expect that when I would if I would move to a farm, right? But
mhm.
if you move to New York City and you're looking to less noise, where are you? What are you thinking? There's
Yeah.
ambulances, there's fire trucks, there's helicopters, there's things that I used to sleep with a fan on for white noise, just to get rid
Mm,
of all the crazy stuff you're hearing because it's
yeah.
nonstop. But it's New York City. Like, what's wrong with people? Move somewhere else if you don't want to hear noise.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Stop
then
trying to change where
they want to change
came
everything. You took the whole culture away from the Big Apple itself. That's one of our songs. Old New York talks about that. It's about like, my memories of New York is, I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called Taxi Driver.
from.
It's an old movie, Robert De Niro movie. It's a phenomenal movie. Go back, and if you haven't seen it, go see it. That's New York. It's a rough time. 42nd Street wasn't Disneyland. 42nd Street was all porn movies and stuff like that. And there were streetwalkers, but it had some kind of a culture, some kind of respect, some kind of a life. Like it was, I mean, where I grew up, like if like in the Lower East Side, there'd be one or two buildings standing per block. That's all gentrified, really nice, whatever. And it was a rough thing, but there was something also beautiful about it. In these times when the things are so like rough, dark, and really get us. There was so much creativity from music, from art, just Andy Warhol, a Blondie, Talking Heads, Dead Boys, Ramones, Agnostic Front, Cro-Mags, Wars, there was so much creativity coming out at the same time that once you change all that, you change the culture, you take the core out of the apple, it's not the same. Like I go there now and I go there to eat pretty much because I miss some of the restaurants, but it's not the same. And then sometimes people tell me like, hey, I went to New York. I've never been in New York, and it's like you talk about all this in Victim and Pain. My first, I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't even that long ago. It was 40 years ago, whatever, if you want to say that long ago. But it's just like it's not the same New York, you know.
Yeah.
But lyrically wise, people could relate to it. Like you take the lyrics to that album, throw it in an ocean. Somebody 100 years from now will bottle washes up. They read it and they can relate to it. But you can't go visit New York and expect to see that because it's so different. And when
Mm,
you start pulling stuff out that's very culture orientated, you're really just changing the whole face of something. And it's
yeah.
going on in every major city, not just New York. I see it in Amsterdam, see it in Paris, see it in London. You see it in Atlanta, you see it in LA, you see it in Chicago. It's just what it is.
And kind of like the Great Migration, part two took place after the pandemic. Everybody decided, oh, I guess we'll move,
Yeah,
and so everybody's still trying to get settled in their new areas and whatnot. But yeah, when you take the heart and soul out of New York City, there's nothing left. And who's going to want to come around for that?
exactly. It's like taking a heart and soul out of anything. Like there's so phenomenal singers that have so much heart and soul, and once they're gone, they're gone. People could try to mimic it, and they'll come and they'll try to do the same thing, but it ain't the same thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Roger, so much for taking this time with both of us. Thank you for letting us kind of tag team you here. Um, really, really appreciate your time. Appreciate you opening up to us and getting some vulnerability out with us. Obviously, it's not new to you, but appreciate it on a personal level.
Thank you, Nika. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you for listening to Echoes of an Eternity. I'm really proud of it. I can't wait to start playing those songs. I hope you both love it, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do. And hopefully,
Definitely.
you'll meet you guys somewhere soon.
Yes,
Would love
yes.
In the
that.
pit.
Right,
Yes, I'll
yes.
see you in the
That
pit.
that's my line, and people have been using it now forever. See you in the pit.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's the third home, right? It's
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
well, I don't know. I always stay on the outside of it, even when I'm in my younger days, but I love watching it. And
yeah.
now my son gets to go and experience it. And I know it's a safe place, so I'm like, have at it, dude.
How about it?
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Roger. You're a legend, and I appreciate everything that you have done for the music industry.
Thank you both. I greatly appreciate you both. Thank you.
Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Cheers.
Take care. Cheers.
Bye.